funny. It's all right. We're live. We're cool. We're live with Gravy.
Young Gravy.
Young
Grave
Gravy. How's
Daddy.
life been with you, man? Haven't caught
It's
up.
all right, man. I know it's been a long time. Yeah, life's all right, bro. It's like stressful with work and all this shit at the moment.
Yeah,
So
for sure. So you're now cutting hairs again?
yeah, well, I never stopped, man. Like
Yeah, true.
that's like the big problem. I've been working through this whole thing, and my line of work is super like exposed to that kind of thing. You know, like I'm
Yeah,
at work
for sure.
touching people all day. Like it's been blow up after blow up, but we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah, for
Anything
sure.
but that, please.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, sweet. So essentially, like, I just wanted to ask you really quickly because I know that you're really big on like sound design. Well, I always consider you as somebody that's like, if I'm like, oh, who does sound design? Who does a lot of their own sound design? It's you. That's always the person who I think of. So
Yeah.
can you like shed a little bit of light on kind of like, do you do separate sound design sessions from actual production, or are you doing it kind of as you go? If you like hear something, go, I need this sound, and then create it, or is it like a bit of both? What are you doing?
It's literally, yeah, it's definitely both, man. So how it used to be was if I ever had like writer's block or something, or I couldn't work in the project that I was in, I'd put that aside and just play around with sound design, make samples and preset patches and blah, 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 blah. But now it's like an active measure of just balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're constantly writing, sorry, is my microphone playing up?
It did a tiny bit. But that's cool. Don't stress.
It's fine. All right. So if I'm like, yeah, writing, and I'm writing a bunch of songs and I use up all my samples, it's just a roadblock. So I kind of slow that down and kind of balance both.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you can kind of like use it as a bit of inspiration to jump into something
Definitely.
else, and yeah,
Yeah.
create.
9 times out of 10, if I'm having like some writer's block or a problem, like a solid sound design session will fix it completely. Like that's my
So
way
cool.
out.
How
Yeah.
cool is that? And like, so
Yeah.
in terms of sound design, did you just learn straight off the bat? Like, did you choose a synth that you just were like, I'm gonna dive into this and learn it heaps?
Pretty much, man. Yeah. So I came from when I started producing, man, like YouTube tutorials weren't a thing yet. Like I'm old school, man. So when I started, it was like it's such a slow curve.
Yeah.
And then, and you know, when sound design tutorials and tutorials this and that became real popular, it was just like a
Yeah.
rocket, man.
Yeah, you like learn real quick then because everyone's putting out stuff online, so it's easier to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
now
cool.
I'm at the point of like I actively don't watch sound design tutorials because it's like, oh, here's how to sound like X artist.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's
exactly.
not where I'm at. That's not what you want.
Yeah.
That's an awesome way to learn, but that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
Yeah.
I was talking to Jai about this. You end up just being in a position where you're copying somebody else and you're learning how to
Exactly.
copy very well, but you're not learning how to actually move the parameters around and figure out what the thing does for yourself.
Yeah. You're like taking shortcuts. You're not going down these wrong paths and finding something new. You're just going, oh, okay, so I do this and then this and then this. It's like planned. There's no exploration.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love that. And like in kind of, I reckon I've seen you probably use Serum the most in just like in terms of like a sound design thing, only because I've seen you with your own Serum skin.
Yeah. I made my own Serum skin. So many people are like, what the fuck? How did you do that? And I was like, and I did it a long time ago, man. Like I thought everyone did it.
Kind of things, man. You got the Instagram filter. You had the
True.
You're just ahead of the curve. I think, and that's important though. I always go like, whoa, man, how the hell did you figure that out? And then it's like, I suppose it's like anything. You just jump in and figure out how it does it.
It's funny, man. For a long time, like this is gonna sound real like wanky, like I'm up myself a lot, but I've kind of been like that for a long time, like doing a lot of things before a lot of other people kind of catch on to it. And
That's
like,
good.
you know, back in high school, it was like wearing skinny jeans and liking big titty goth girls and shit like that. You know, I get roasted in high school, man. And then years down the track, it's cool. And that's been
Yeah.
happening for a long time, to the point where like I don't even think of it like, fuck, are people gonna make fun of me? No, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do, and then they will catch up. And it
Yeah.
happens so often, man. So
That's
often.
sick. Well, it's true though. Like everyone's seen. Well, I seen your serum skin, and I was like, I need that.
Yeah. Oh man, have you like made one yet, or?
Well, to be honest, I don't know how. Slash, haven't
Yeah.
looked into it. So I
Right.
presume there's a way of doing it.
It is a bit of work, but it's surprisingly simple. Like
That's good.
really, it's just it's a lot of work in terms of you've got to make one image a bunch of different compatibilities, so all different
Right.
formats, all different sizes. It's just a
Yeah.
lot of work, but it's really just formatting and sizing.
Yeah. Okay. I reckon that's
Yeah,
possible. I reckon it's easy enough.
yeah,
Surely there's a
definitely.
YouTube tutorial on it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they literally Kill the Noise did one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he's who I learned from.
All right. Well, I'm gonna write that down. Hot tip:
100%,
write
man.
things down.
Yeah. Oh, I've
Mm,
become such a list man recently.
yeah. And how does that go
Yeah.
for you?
It works so well,
Is this
especially
like
because
production or life?
just life in general. But so like the thing is, there's no difference between my life and music anymore. There's no gap. It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
I like
So
that.
the only time I'm not in like music mode or like artist mode is when I'm uh, at my job. And even
Yeah.
still, that's when I'm making the list to come home and do, you know?
To come home
So
and do it. Yeah.
I'll be in the middle of a haircut and be like, oh, fuck, I should do that. Write it down on my phone, come home and then
And it's
like
like,
do that thing.
yeah, I think that's such a
Yeah.
good thing for productivity. Like
Yeah.
in terms of, getting home and in the macro, like you said, lining out,
Mm.
okay, I'm doing this, I've got to attack this track or this remix or download these stems, whatever, la da da.
Yeah.
There's like that. And then there's also within that, like if you're listening to a track, for example, you'd sit there and just make notes of how many things that, or like something that needs doing, like listen to it
Yeah.
subjectively and sort of sit back and make a list. And then that makes, when you're jumping back in and actually having a go, you can
Yeah.
go through the list super easy and knock off a few things
Yeah.
quick as like,
It really helps because I cannot focus, man. I cannot
yeah,
focus.
it's
So
it's
if
like
I
sticky
like,
notes in front of your thing.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
constant sticky notes, and it's like, I don't know what this one says, like kick and la da 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 something something.
Subcut. Yeah.
Kick
I used to
subcut.
do that, man. I used to do exactly that. Like listen to, songs and write out a list. But even that I kind of phased out in the same wave of not wanting to do the same as everyone else and sound the same as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why I stopped that. But I do think it is like a solid like tactic.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Um, if like if you were to kind of prioritize something that, say, for example, when you're writing a tune or whatever, if you're prioritizing your elements in the mix
Mm-hmm.
or in the track,
Mm-hmm.
say like drums, this is very genre specific, so that's why I'm asking you. Drums, bass, leads, like vocals, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's kind of what's at the front of your mixes in your
So
track?
if I'm wanting to prioritize something in the mix, pocket EQing.
As in like giving something its own space, like,
So,
or like taking
kind
out,
of, but not really.
punching out for each thing.
Yeah, kind of. So, the first thing I do is, if I say just example, I want my drums to be the focus of the song. I would like heaps. I would do all of the distortion, EQing, everything of that manner to boost those.
Yeah.
And then what I would do is pocket EQing is where you boost important parts of a group or a sound. Boost, make it sound as full as you possibly could, and then take that same EQ, like copy paste it onto whatever element that you're wanting to subtract from, and just invert the range.
Oh,
That's what pocket EQing is.
so does it have to be the exact same EQ, or is it obviously the idea is to like where one frequency sitting in the mix, something is going to be taking out in that frequency to allow the room.
Yeah. Fundamentally, yeah, it's basic EQing, but this is like a specific technique to really boost one element and subtract from another, like surgically.
I like that. Yeah. So is this like a technique you can use at the end of sort of mixing down, where you go, okay,
I would do it towards the end.
Yeah, this isn't sitting as I like had hoped. Maybe I want to try and bring the drums out a little bit more. If you can't, maybe use some of this pocket EQ to bring out certain elements.
Yeah, so it's definitely it's kind of make it.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use it.
Oh, it's fucking wonderful, man. Whenever like a youngin or someone new asks me, or how do I get my mix downs cleaner? That is the first thing I suggest, because it's easy and it's fucking magical, man.
Yes. Gravy with the sauce. Gravy with the absolute sauce. I like that. That's going in.
Yeah.
Beautiful. See, I'm like writing things down. We just got to keep these things going. It's
easy.
Hang on. Oh yeah. So the other thing I really like about your sound design, in particular your basses, is that you manage to have like insane width, as well as like nice solidarity in the sort of the middle range. Obviously you need it like a clean sub in the middle, but you've got some like crazy width. And I know Serum gives you the ability to kind of phase, and it's got heaps of movement in a hell of a lot of these kind of envelopes and whatever you can put in.
Yeah.
But is it something that you try and do deliberately, push something wider? And like, if so, how do you do that?
So there's two ways that you could possibly be talking about. So if it's like a feature pan, say like a drum hitting left and then right and then kind of going like this, I just do it manually with the pan setting on the thing. But in terms of general width,
but if that's a bass and you want a bass to do that, where it kind of goes from like one thing to the other, would you do that on the top layer because the sub needs to stay in the center?
Well, so not really, because in my processing, like on my master, I will do the stereo field. Right. And so because the pan is coming through the master, and on my master I always center the lows. It's this, like my elbow's the center. It's not moving with the rest of the shit. So really it is just the highs going like this, but I'm panning sub, fucking mid, everything. And in the end catching it.
Okay. Because under a certain frequency at the end, it's going to make it all mono anyway.
Exactly.
Would that provide any issues with phase canceling or anything, or not really?
I have a funny story with phase issues, man. So, I was around before YouTube tutorials, before anyone even knew. Yeah, exactly. I'm fucking old. But so I, at some point, phase became quite popular in, mixing issues. Everyone was talking about phase cancellation, blah, blah. And I was like, what the fuck? What is phase cancellation? And I looked up a way to see if your tracks had issues. And I did it. And my tracks never had phase issues. Like I've never really had to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't think
it must just be like some kind of technique that is a staple to me that like negates it.
yeah.
But I've never had phase issues, man.
I think majority of the stuff that's made now, samples, presets, whatever, is designed not to have any phase issues. Although,
yeah, I think it's quite easy to not really have to deal with it.
Yeah. Although I have definitely come across it, and all I did was invert the phase on the relationship between the kick and the bass, and it allowed the clarity of the kick to come through more. Something was going on where like the tail of the kick, the subtail of the kick was interfering with the bass
sub,
and was canceling it out. And I was like, this is sounding weird. And then all I did was flip the phase, and then it came like in solid as if nothing was wrong.
Like, that's so weird.
Whoa.
I tend to think that maybe I don't have that issue because I don't know if you've noticed, but my side chaining is super heavy.
Yeah, it actually.
So there's no correlation between kick and sub because it's just
it's like cut to silence.
Yeah, exactly.
Through, and then it's like, and then let everything back again.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm just picturing, you know, that show Total Wipeout where they're walking along the thing, and then suddenly opens and the glove comes out. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
That's
the people is the sub, and the glove's my kick. Oh fuck.
Awesome. Well, yeah, the other thing, last thing I had kind of to talk about was post-apocalyptic scenarios that we're in at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see this industry going? And I'm talking more producing, more like releasing club tunes, because obviously everyone's been on a hold with releasing stuff officially because there's been no sort of club market, and there's these hype charts instead of actual regular charts. I guess that's moving more into DJ land, but it still all sort of comes together. How do you see sort of releasing music and this kind of thing, post-apocalyptic things?
Okay, so this is like a big one. So I think right now it's really good for certain artists and genres, and it's really bad for others. So what I've noticed is people are talking about whether or not to release or not right now. But my email, my inbox, my promo box is going crazy.
Yeah,
and it's because
me too.
You know, like you're getting promos every day, whereas like a few months ago, it was like every couple of days.
Yeah.
Constantly, all day, I'm getting promo this, promo that. Because these club tracks that already had a short shelf life have even less of a shelf life.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is releasing in quantity. I don't know about the quality. I have not been paying attention. I've been focusing on my own thing. So what they're doing to make up for the lack of club publicity and longevity is they're just pumping out so that there is 100 tracks to stream in one day rather than one track to stream 100 times on a weekend.
Wow.
They're kind of switching
I see
priority. That's exactly what's going on. So for club music, right now it's bad.
Yeah.
Because quantity over quality, you know what happens, man. It's about to get trash.
Saturated.
But so I divide, like, let's just talk about electronic music in general. EDM. Let's talk about that just in a pocket. There's two types. There's your club, your bangers, which is for shows and touring and blah, 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 blah. And then there's like sit and listen electronic.
Yes.
And the difference is, say, like, I don't know, EDM is like club tracks, Timmy Trumpet, Charmy,
hard
blah,
stuff.
blah.
Yeah.
And then your sit and listen music is your flume and
Yeah, fully.
Aphex Twin and Burial, and
Yeah.
you know
Although
the
there are some
difference.
crossovers, but yeah, I understand.
Absolutely, like you can play a Flume Club track at a club, but you're not going
I
to
see what
sit
you
at
mean.
home and
Yeah.
listen to Timmy Trumpet. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe some of his radios. Yeah.
Someone will, but
someone does.
we're
But
talking about the
anyway.
majority. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really good for that spectrum, the flumes and the what's so nots and that kind of side of it. Really good. It's really good time for them as well in terms of general free time for creativity.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it's
no
like
one's touring.
everyone's
Flume
sitting at
is
home.
sitting.
They're being feelsy, so they want feelsy music. And you're like just general listening. Like you're not.
Yeah.
No one's got the
You
chance
wanna
to pop a bag in their bedroom,
exactly.
and listen
You
to
wanna
this.
you wanna cook dinner. You put on fucking, you know, something chill. You're not gonna be raving in your kitchen.
Exactly.
Someone is,
Well,
but
some people are, but mostly that's pre-drinks. That's where all the streams come from.
exactly,
Pre-drinks and
exactly.
kick-ons.
Yeah,
That's a very
yeah,
interesting perspective. I like that, and I think you're right about that. I've certainly held off from releasing edits and things because there's no market for it. Nobody's playing them.
exactly.
I mean, they can play
Yeah,
them on a few live streams and things, but
yeah,
it's not I'm not enjoying making it. So that's kind of the bottom line for me at the end of the day. But like you said, I've seen people that are releasing more pop tunes and stuff. Like Will Sparks just released his some pop tune recently, and it's so different to anything that I've ever seen from Will Sparks, really. And it's kind of very emotional, and like that kind of that's a perfect song for the perfect situation, and that's what's going to generate all the streams at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's what the smart artists are going to be doing, is catering to the more the industry, the side of EDM with more longevity. And Will's a smart dude, man. He knows what's up.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's pretty. It's pretty daunting, I guess, for people that are solely making club tunes. But
yeah, but and that's another positive I think is going to come out of this, man, because before the touring circuit was it was bought out. It wasn't genuine, and so these people who have lived off crazy budgets for filmography to come to their shows and make it look hectic and book more shows, that's not an option. That's not a crutch for them anymore. So the people who are working hard and are talented are really going to come through this. Everyone else is just going to be like, I'm not getting enough Instagram likes. I'm out. It's gonna be polarizing. It's gonna be like correcting, I think.
Yeah, correcting is the right word. Exposing people that aren't like real and authentic.
It's a filter, man. It's gonna be a filter. Everyone who comes out on the other end, it's gonna be a fucking musical utopia. It's gonna be good, man. I'm positive. I'm like really optimistic about it. Me too. Yeah. And I was actually thinking, I was thinking today. So say next week clubs open up. We aren't getting international artists for 2 years, maybe. So what's going to happen is the local scene is about to be amazing, I think. Yes. Yeah, I think it's going to be fucking great.
Yeah, I agree.
The locals are going to be putting on these. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so good, which is what we need because, clubs pay 50 grand for fucking Carnage to come, and that clown is just going to take the money, bail. The club can't pay X amount of people. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're seeing festivals drowning in all of their debt because
I was so upset about Listen Out and FOMO because those are two really genuine festivals, man.
And they worked hard to bring back the festival scene that we used to have and that died because of money. And now they brought it back and
it's gone. Yeah. It's really sad.
Last thing, this one's really crazy. Last thing, Joe Rogan, $100 million deal on Spotify.
Oh man, good on him.
Like,
That's so sick.
it's awesome, right? Now,
I don't watch his podcast at all, but you know, you can't
no,
ignore it. You can't escape it.
yeah, I guess it's more kind of from a business standpoint, like moving to podcasting, moving to Spotify is a good thing for Spotify, a good thing for people like us who are making music and putting it on Spotify, being that we're investing our time and our like business towards investing in Spotify and growing our accounts.
Mhm.
So the fact that somebody of such a high profile is moving there and being invested in on that platform only bodes well for the platform itself to be better use for us creators and open up more options for us to try and, you know, bring more of ourselves and more of our brand to that platform. So I think
Yep.
that's it's a pretty exciting move in terms of
Yep.
that kind of thing.
Yes, but the,
But
the the first thing that comes up in my head is Joe Rogan does podcasts. People
yes,
coming to Spotify for podcasts, I don't think they're coming for the music, man,
true, true. But
which is
if you
dangerous.
if you imagine listeners, okay, so
Mm.
you've got like music listeners and then podcast listeners and whatever other listeners there are.
Yep.
Um, you've got them across a few different services, Apple Music, you've got them across like Kindle, Amazon, all of like Audible, all of these different versions of these platforms. Now you
Mm-hmm.
bring one, Spotify, that brings all of them under one umbrella and one membership. You're going to get everyone leave all of these platforms and come to Spotify, meaning there's a greater listener base on Spotify than there ever was. Maybe
Yeah.
not specifically for music, you're right, but there will
Mm-hmm.
now on that platform and have
Yeah.
better cross, I
Yeah.
guess.
The best way I can think of it is so no business will spend an amount of money unless they are guaranteed to double it back. So 100 million goes out to Joe Rogan. Eventually they get 200 million back.
They should, yeah.
Yeah, which, you know, is good. It means improvements. It means this and that. But, and I'm all about the but. Call me the, I'm the 10th man. So there's still and always has been an issue between artists and Spotify specifically because Spotify has an ungodly amount of money.
Yes.
But how much do we get paid per stream?
Nothing.
May as well be
Dust,
zero fucking
crumbs.
000. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like, it's great. Oh, wow. Spotify's about to get so much better. Are we going to get paid for it? No.
No, you're right. It doesn't change, yeah, it doesn't change the fact that it's just as hard to get yourself streaming on Spotify.
Yeah.
I guess it just means that there's more attention to audio-based platforms. And that's exciting. Even though we're branching ourselves across many platforms now and incorporating video and everything, it's still gonna, you know, it's exciting.
Yeah.
But I
It is
I
very
like the
interesting.
balanced view. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I like, is it sucks to be like negative about things, but really you have to have that kind of insight. You can't just be like, oh,
Yeah. It's a
love and
realistic
fairies like that.
yeah.
That's great. That's amazing. I wish I could be so happy. But I have to think about things critically and objectively. Otherwise, it's just, I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, you're very right. You have to do
Yeah.
that. And it
Yeah.
makes it like you can't just dive into it not weighing up both sides. So
Yeah. It's very much hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Hell yes. All right, bro. Let's call it. I'm happy with that. Thanks
Nice.
for hanging.